So as a heads up, this is the most insane trial I think I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of trials. Now, within the rap industry itself, this is probably one of the most notorious events that has ever unfolded. Um, the death of Tupac, the murder of Tupac rather, that sent shockwaves back in the 90s. I mean, even in the early 2000s, they were still talking about it. And the fact that this now has come to play, like I cannot emphasize enough how insane this really is. So, um, this is from CNN, right? And this deals with the what the defendant. Now, this is Keffe D, and again, he's the one who had a role in Tupac's murder. Allegedly, had a role in Tupac's murder. He is on trial for it, and this is what the defendant told police. Now, I have not read this, so you're going to read it along with me. This is from CNN. Davis has provided accounts of his role in Tupac's murder a number of times, and his story has remained fairly consistent over the years. In 2008, he spoke to federal task force agents as a proffer, or an agreement in which a suspect gives potentially useful information to police under the condition that police cannot use it against them, with some exceptions. In that interview, Davis said Tupac and Knight had assaulted his nephew, Orlando Anderson, on night of September 7th, 1996. Okay, first of all, first time I ever heard that. Okay, it might have been in his book. I saw snippets of his book, what's available online. I have not read it myself. If that's been said before, I did not know that. That's new information to me. Davis then obtained a gun, and he, Anderson, and two others went searching for Tupac and Knight in an attempt to retaliate, according to the document included in a recent legal filing. He told law enforcement they spotted Tupac in a vehicle on the Vegas Strip, made a U-turn, pulled up to the rapper's vehicle. According to the document, Davis, sitting in front seat, said Anderson in the back seat fired the fatal shots, according to the interview notes. Davis also told Las Vegas police about his role in Tupac's death. The proffer agreement meant police could not bring charges against Davis as a direct result of the information gathered from the proffer. Still, some details were revealed in Greg Calding's 2011 book, Murder Rap, and portions of it were later played in documentaries. So that's a lot of new information I hadn't known, and that's wild. Okay, so I'm watching the trial, right? And I've never seen anything like this, because they had a star witness who was on security who said, and I forget the gentleman's name, I'm not going to look it up right now, who said, listen, I'm not trying to send your client to jail. You are. And like his defense, the defense attorney, I don't want that. The defense attorney is making such a bad case. Like, is he trying to send Keffe D to jail? Like, I don't know, right? I genuinely do not know. This is insanity, bro. All right, what Davis said in public. Then Davis started speaking about the case publicly. In 2018, Davis agreed to the interview about the killings in BET's Death Row Chronicles. He outlined his actions that night and said the fatal shots came from someone sitting in the back of the vehicle. Someone sitting in the back of the vehicle. Now, I don't know if he was under NDA or something that he couldn't talk about who it was, but that's interesting. He published his book in February 2009 and wrote in detail about the desire for retaliation, obtaining a Glock pistol, searching for Tupac, and the moments that would change hip-hop forever. So, they also had the photographer of this photograph on as a witness yesterday, which is wild. Like, I always thought this photograph was staged, but it was not, that's just crazy. Tupac made an erratic move and began to reach down beneath his seat, Davis wrote. Pac pulled out a strap, and that's when the fireworks started. One of my guys in the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back. Okay, so this was initially going to be a firefight that turned fatal, and Tupac was killed. Suge Knight was also in that vehicle. After the shooting, he said they drove away from the scene and abandoned their rental car. He said he and Knight are the only two people still alive who were there that night. The moral of the story, real gangsters are nothing to F with, he wrote. Davis said the process of writing the book was therapeutic. He called the proffer agreement the deal of a lifetime and said he was only speaking out because of its supposed protection. I would never have said a word if they gave me such a sweet deal, he wrote. I didn't have to do a day of time. And I didn't tell anybody but myself because everybody else was already dead. Think about it. That's insane. Like, this is insane. Why would you say that out loud? Like, this is insanity. And like, is his defense attorney trying to get him behind bars? Like, maybe was he paid off? Like, this is crazy. I've never in my lifetime ever thought something like this would actually go down. I never thought they'd catch the guy. I thought he'd be dead beforehand, but he's still alive. I mean, this is all just so nuts. After writing the book, Davis spoke in media interviews, including with Vlad TV, in which he encouraged people to buy the book. I understand it. Foggy memories, lack of witnesses is the next portion. 4 years after his book was published, David was indicted. No, is it indicted? Indicted. It's indicted. I know that. No, was indicted. It was indicted. Oh my God. It's late. Forgive me. My grammar is significantly better than this when I'm not tired. Davis was indicted on a charge of murder that closely matches his version of events. The indictment offers several possibilities, saying Davis allegedly killed Tupac and or he aided and abetted the killing by obtaining a firearm and giving it to another person, and or he conspired to carry out the killing. To prove their case, prosecutors plan to use his statements against him, while the defense has tried to keep them out of the trial or argue they are false. In a pretrial hearing, the judge overseeing the case ruled to allow the jury to hear his book and media interviews, saying the proffer agreement did not cover public statements. Whoa, okay, that's... Again, this is why you don't talk out. Babe, okay, question for you. If you committed a murder, would you talk about it like openly? Exactly. What in the hell? She also allowed prosecutors to use the police proffer statements, though she expressed some concern with the legality. Coates called Davis's statements gold star evidence for the prosecution, especially in a case with little other evidence. This is a self-inflicted wound and aids the prosecution immeasurably. Otherwise, they'd have no way to get the information, she said. In a recent filing, prosecutors sought to establish Davis' credibility, saying many parts of the book are accurate and consistent with other evidence. For example, Davis wrote in the book he was wearing a Ray Lucia crime story suit during the shooting, and prosecutors later found a Polaroid photo of Davis in that suit, according to the filing. Why would you say that? While the book is salacious, prone to hyperbole, inaccuracies, and at least one substantial lie, the book generally describes the brutal life of defendant Dwayne Keffe D. Davis, the filing states. And so this is the car Tupac was in. By contrast, the defense will point to the parts of the book that are provably false in an attempt to discredit it, explained David Roger, the former Clark County, Nevada district attorney. Okay, but so they're going to try to, all right, but this guy like openly killed Tupac. What are you doing? Like, like we've all said stupid stuff before. Like I guess his DNA wouldn't really be able to be collected at the scene because maybe it could, but he wasn't the one doing the shooting, so his fingerprints wouldn't be on the firearm unless he would touch it after the fact. But even then, that wouldn't be solid evidence to get him. He said his nephew pulled the trigger. He was essentially the getaway driver. Prosecutors will have to overcome a few key hurdles in their case. It's been nearly 30 years since Tupac's death, so some witnesses have died and others may not remember precise details. Fading memories will be the enemy of this prosecution, Coates said. Several potential witnesses may have credibility issues too. Suge Knight, who was shot and wounded in the attack, I actually did not know he was wounded. I know he was there. I didn't know he was wounded. That's interesting. I didn't hear that. Who was shot and wounded in the attack, has had his own legal troubles and is serving a 28-year prison sentence for a fatal hit and run. He is listed on the prosecutor's witness list, but he previously told TMZ he would not testify in the trial. The theme of this entire trial is, who can you believe? Coates said. That answer is not easy and it's not obvious. It's not clear if Davis will testify, yet he offered a preview of his defense during his 2023 arrest. I ain't worried about it, he said. According to police body camera video, I didn't do. Wow. Okay. So this is conflicting, right? So when he got arrested, he said, I didn't do anything. In his book, he said he did some stuff. Now, he was not playing a character, right? This is not a character. This is not somebody who was going around like as a joke. Now, right now, I'm not playing a character. I'm me. And I've been following this whole situation as it has unfolded with a lot of new evidence since the early 2000s. I was fascinated by it, but I actually did not hear that Suge was hit in this. That's something I did not know. So there's some new information. When Tupac was killed, he was not immediately pronounced dead. He was taken to the hospital, and a few days later, it was pronounced dead. This is just wild. Like, all of this is wild. All of this is nuts. And this guy, he's giving such conflicting information. Like, who can you believe? Okay, they bring the one dude up on stage, and I think the best testimony was that one dude they brought on stage, who was part of security. It wasn't a formal security. I don't know the background of it. I saw tidbits of it, but he said, again, I'm not trying to send your man to jail. You are. And his defense attorney, Keffe D's defense attorney, almost looks like, and we were talking about this, almost looks like he was paid off. Who do you believe? This is nuts. Again, Keffe D was not playing a character, was not trying to be funny. Right? Like, he said in his book, yeah, I was a getaway driver. My nephew shot Tupac. Where do you go from there, man? Like, that's insane. This is the nuttiest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to have a trial like this again. And there's just been so much building up to it that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how much more psycho can this get? Also, by following this, I found out something also insane. Suge has a podcast that he does from jail, which is like, if you just Google, I don't know the name of it, but if you Google Suge Knight podcast, you can listen to it. I was listening to it on the way to work the other day, which is just like, it's wild. He has a lot of episodes about this, being in the car. I didn't watch those. I might have found out the information that he was like injured, because I didn't really focus on Suge. It was mainly on Tupac I was interested in, because this seemed like, for the longest time, a conspiracy. And Diddy's name has been brought. I want to see Diddy testify. I want to see P. Diddy testify. Please, God, I want to see P. Diddy testify. That would be the wildest thing on earth. Like, imagine if they gave P. Diddy like a special deal if he would testify. Insanity. I mean, I'm talking like some of the craziest stuff we've ever seen. This would blow the lid off of anything else. Like, that could potentially, it would just open the floodgates and everything would just get swallowed up by it, because this is crazy. If there's more information, I might do a stream later on covering this, but this is crazy. This is nuts. I don't think we're ever going to ever see something as just psychotic as this, because everyone involved has something to hide. And I think that's like, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys just, we'll follow this together. But if one, I'm definitely going to do a stream once this trial has reached its conclusion. I don't know how long it's going to be, but once the jury finds Keffe D either guilty or not guilty, I suspect it will be guilty. I mean, oh my gosh, we're gonna do a total coverage of this story, and I mean, oh my god, dude, this is gonna be insane. So stay tuned.